Awesome. So, without speaking of which, this is Pine Martyn. My name is Brandon. Welcome back to Audio Addiction. If I didn't already say so already, thanks for being on, man. And you can say your name and what you do in the band, man.
Um, I'm Brandon as well. Man, I pretty much do everything. I don't really like have a band. I used to whenever I was younger, and I don't know. I don't really know like when the point was that I like switched from having a band to not having a band.
Yeah.
Um, so I was kind of like start from the beginning. Pine Martyn was like a. It started because like one of the bands that I was in high school, like they were interesting. I guess I don't want to like say anything bad about them. They were super great guys. They like taught me a lot about music, but they would like flake out on gigs a lot.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
so I like didn't want to not take the gigs, so I just like created this like second alias to like save the day, I guess.
Yes.
And it ended up becoming such like a reoccurring thing that I was able to get a lot of gigs out of it, and it just started getting really confusing. And sometimes like some of the members of that band would play with me if we were free, and then like I don't know. Then it just became like its own thing entirely, and it was like a totally different sound than what we were doing. And it was confusing in the fact that like I would be playing these shows and it would be like, all right, we're introducing the Clanks or whatever, or whoever I was playing with, and it was like, oh well, actually we're going with Pine Martyn today.
Oh wow, okay.
There was like some confusion or just some story. I don't know. Uh, so that was like kind of how it started, and then I had accumulated like enough solo songs from that band that were like reject songs that like weren't allowed to be played. So I had just like probably like a whole set list at that point, and then I started taking it more seriously. And my friend Dylan, he goes to Berkeley now. He's like super rad.
Oh, awesome.
Dylan Samarco, look out for him. He's gonna be the next big thing. He's super good at drums. I don't know what he's doing right now. I'm sure he's just schooling it up super hard, studying, just taking whatever gigs and projects he can find.
Yeah.
I know he's doing songwriting and recording for his degree right now.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, he's super, super talented. He plays guitar, drums, bass, keyboards. But he was the guy that it was like just me and him for a really long time, and I would have an idea, and maybe it would be like a measure or something, or like I don't know, whatever it would be, whatever the
Yeah.
idea is, and I would just be like, all right, here's the thing, and we would just like at the time my parents lived at this airplane hangar, and we would just go there.
Oh wow, okay.
There was really no like concerns about noise, so we could be there whenever until like 2 in the morning or something.
Oh
And
wow.
we just recorded a bunch of these songs, and that was cool. That was like how most of the Pine Martyn songs came to be, at least like the first 5 or 6 of them. Not really sure how many it was during that time. And then I moved to Austin to start studying jazz, and I started studying from the guy at UT, Bruce Saunders, and then another guy, Russ Gamblon, who's the teacher at the San Marcos School of Music. And that was cool and all. I like really wasn't able to like afford to live there, so I was there for like a year, and it was a great experience, and I learned a lot. But during that time was definitely whenever I separated from like having a band, because I was just myself. I was meeting people at music school and stuff who were
Correct.
like more than down to play with me. But they were only willing to play with me if I had like music for them to read, which was like a whole nother thing that I like wasn't
Yeah.
ready, because I was just playing all these like crazy ridiculous things on guitar, and all this math rock stuff, and I was like, man, I'm in like music theory too. Like I don't know how to like write all this craziness, and you're asking me to like do this really specific thing in a really short amount of time, and I've never even tried to do that, and it's at a much higher standard than I'm sure you would, or I'm making it at a much lower standard than your standards. I'm sure they have higher standards. So I was just like asking whoever really would play with me to get whatever gigs I could find. I really wasn't being very picky, and that's really what started it. And then I started going to UNT, which is in Denton. These are all in Texas, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
Just to clarify, I'm in Texas. There's a great music school at UNT. I'm studying with the jazz guitar teacher here, and that's super fun. Yeah, and people at UNT, man, I don't know. They're next level. They're the best in the world. There's like, at least whenever I was in Austin, I never really ran into too many like foreign exchange students or anything like that. It was always just like some American kids, I'm from Kansas or something. You walk around UNT in the music school, you're gonna hear like 27 different languages.
Oh wow.
and
Okay.
It's just gonna be a cultural experience within itself. But they also have like the only academic band to have won a Grammy.
Oh, wow.
Their 1 o'clock through 9 o'clock programs are like super crazy. They're like really hyper competitive. You can like audition to like get into someone's spot or anything like that at any time, really. So you just have to be the best of the best, always on your A game. And those guys are just so busy. So I really have to like, I had to actually start planning and like, taking these like fallback gigs, and like I realized it wasn't just like, oh, this is it's not that it was like a joke before, but I really wasn't taking it that seriously. I needed to actually like coordinate with people if I didn't want to just be like standing up alone playing guitar by myself,
Yeah.
which is super awkward. I'm not about that. So I don't know. I'm trying to steer away from that and really get into like a place where I can have solid gigs, play with the people that I want to play with, because now it's getting to the point where like everything's kind of turning into like an improv
Okay.
thing. It's
Okay.
really weird because I'm asking people to play songs they've never played before in their life, and I've never played with these people before, which is like the total like fun and like terrible part about it though. At the same time. So it's like I really get like a unique experience every time, and I have to be willing to like roll with whatever happens. I mean, if
Yeah.
shit starts going south or something, it's like really hard to pull it back, or I just gotta like let it happen, or I can't just be like, no, this is how it's gotta be. Like, I don't know. I've learned to just like roll with the punches and just kind of like let it happen, which was like something I really wasn't familiar with at all. I don't know. And all the other bands I was in, it was like we would practice for like months and we would never play a show, and then it would be like a year later we would finally get a show. We had played together like for 1,000 hours or some shit. It was never like, all right, hey, dude, are you free on like 2 hours from now? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, yeah, sure, I'll meet you there. Okay, cool. What music are we gonna play? Don't worry about it. Just show up. I don't know. It works out well though. I just make sure I hire like really good people.
Yes.
uh, I think I had to become more selective about the process to a certain extent after I started like becoming, uh, I don't know, integrated or like a member of the scene.
Awesome. Awesome. But my next question is, since you were talking about you're from Texas, what are some places that you've played that you've really enjoyed playing at?
Man, not that many,
Okay.
sadly. I really don't like playing in Denton specifically.
Okay.
Um, it's like hard to really get a lot of shows. I really like playing house shows. I
Oh,
wouldn't
okay.
say
Nice.
it's like specific venues that I like really try to invest a lot in. I had a really great show at Killer Tacos the other day, and that's like a new taco shop in town, and it's right off campus, and it's like a packed house. It was really awesome. It was a
Oh, that's
pretty
cool.
last minute show. It was like going to be a house show, and then the guy was like, "I have too much homework," so I asked this taco place if they would do it. And man, there were so many people in there, like you couldn't even sit down, and
Oh, wow.
uh, it was awesome. Like it turned out to be like a really great thing. But there's other times where I've just played, and normally it's like I'm expected to be there from like 5 till midnight or something, and I have to organize like 8 bands, and I'm getting paid nothing, and
Oh,
I
wow.
have to do it like every week, and it's like an hour away from my house or something, and it's just like so really not worth it because everyone's just so emotional. Like I have to, make all these bands happy, which is like 20 people's worth of if 8 bands are
Yeah.
like at least 3 people per band or something. And then plus the business and the sound guy and all this other stuff. And it's like I just don't really like being that guy, but like that's like the only guy that I could be if I want to play shows.
Yeah.
Like I have to be really DIY and like initiative about like okay, if I want to get out there and play, I have to make sure that I have like a stacked bill, and I got to make sure I'm like bringing people and that I'm paying the people and the businesses are happy, and it's just like a whole nother can of worms that I don't know. I didn't know that was my job. Apparently it is. But I'm not really complaining about it. I really enjoy playing. There's a lot of good places, a lot of house venues around here that are like more than willing to have like any type of person and any genre of music, and I think that's really great that there's like such an open, like loving scene around here, and everyone's like really supportive. But everyone knows like all the venues are just terrible. All the bars and I don't know, just like regular places are just so run
Yeah.
down. I think there's a total of like 4 venues in the town total.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and there's like 500 bands or something because there's like two colleges of music and then like an underground like punk scene,
Oh, wow.
uh,
Okay.
along with like the plethora of other people who just play music. So I mean, it's just like impossible. There's no way that you could
Yeah.
really. So everyone's just like really emotional about it. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if that was the answer you were really looking for. Just trying to be honest.
No, I appreciate the honesty. Sometimes, sometimes people approach it differently so they don't, step on people's toes, I guess, per se. But at the same time, it's like, I appreciate the honesty without a doubt. There are some things that, I don't necessarily like about things too. But, I appreciate the honesty for sure. But my next question is, what are some of your musical influences?
Man, I don't know. I would definitely say like Life. This little guy right here. Her name's Pico. Um, very cute. The kitty bird. Whoa, she's running on my distortion pedal. Yeah, dude, they're awesome. They play the guitar and stuff. It's really funny. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I was really like into being like a copycat at first. I would say I really like enjoyed stealing other people's stuff. Like, not that I wanted to steal it, but like I loved listening to music and being like, okay, I'm gonna make a jam just like this song,
Yeah.
which is cool. But I don't think that really was like doing anything for me, nor was I really like composing or being influenced by anything or trying to create anything. I remember whenever I was like really starting out, I really liked Grizzly Bear. I really liked Terra Mellis, and I really liked um, I don't know, local natives, stuff like that was like really interesting to me. But that was like a totally different thing than what I'm doing right now, I would say. I started getting really into jazz whenever I started going to college because it was like either go to school for classical music or go to school for jazz. And I chose jazz. It was an easy choice, I guess. Classical music is really boring to me. The class I was in before this was 19th century music, and I was like so boring. We were like watching an opera in class, and I wanted to die. That's why I had to make coffee. I was so tired. So, but yeah, so I started listening to a lot of jazz, and that really changed my perspective on everything. And really, in the sense that I started becoming more influenced in like literally everything. I started listening to like things on the radio and like actually understanding what they were and being like, wow, that's actually applicable. I could use that, like because I understand this and like what the chord progression is or like what the rhythms are. Um, or like I'd be listening to jazz and I'd be trying to play a solo and I would be, transcribing the solo, learning the things and trying to put it in 12 keys. And I always had to learn these like standards or tunes and I have like the way it is at school or whatever is you have like a tune and then I guess more specifically a standard. So you have like all the things you are or something or some jazz song and then you have like an etude and then you have like a solo. So those are like really inspirational to me. I would say like every week because I've been doing that for like years. And I would say that's like the main thing that really drives me more than like listening and life and genre and bands and everything is like what I'm getting from my lessons.
Okay, okay, interesting. That's definitely an interesting thought because you come from a different sort of background from what I typically do, so it's interesting, how you answered some of these questions, especially the, influences and stuff just in terms of, the type of place you come from. So that's cute. But yeah, so I like that answer a lot. I think that's a good way to go about it, and I enjoyed that. So, my next question is, um, if you could collaborate with somebody, who would you want to collaborate with?
Oh my gosh. Um, I don't know, so many people, man. I feel like that's like what I love to do the most. I think there's like definitely like an aspect of music that can only be obtained like with jamming with other people.
Okay.
Um, I don't know, like I could just sit around in my room and like play some song for like hours and hours and hours. And as soon as I showed it to someone, I think it would take like the life of something else like so immediately or fast and not just like be settled as this one thing. Man, I don't know. I would really love to jam with either Julian Lodge
Oh,
Uh,
nice. Yeah.
he's just like such a great guitar player. I've just loved to like pick his brain. Um, and then, man, Joanna Newsom would be like really cool. I think like making some like harp and guitar stuff would be really
Nice.
rad.
Okay.
Um, and then there's this guy who I've been like jamming on so hard recently. Ben Wendell, he's a saxophone player, he plays tenor. Um, holy crap, he's a monster. Uh, just so cool. He does this thing. I guess it was last year. I don't know if he's doing it anymore, but he started doing like these duo YouTube videos,
Oh, wow.
and
Okay.
just like so crazy to me the things that that dude was doing with just a saxophone and one other person. It was like he would have trumpet and saxophone or guitar and whatever. It was always like a pair, but that was like super cool and just made me want to play with them. I was just like, oh my gosh, how are you playing saxophone so good? Yeah, man. I don't know. It's crazy. Saxophone players are the coolest, I think.
Awesome. Awesome. My next question is, in your opinion, who puts on a great live show and maybe a favorite show that you've been to recently?
Ooh, great live show. Man, Grizzly Bear puts on a really rad show.
Awesome.
Uh, I saw them at this place in Dallas called the Palladium. It's totally sold out, and I was just like front row.
Awesome.
It's so great, dude. They played like every song ever, and they're all like so talented multi instrumentalists. They just, you know, they can play everything, dude. Like every member can play the piano, every member can play bass, every member can play guitar, everybody can play like some wind instrument, everybody can play drums to some extent. So it's like they're just playing like, switcheroo or like musical chairs or something, and that was
Oh, that's
just
cool.
like it was ridiculous to like the caliber that they were able to play each instrument. I think you see people, now who are like, I can kind of play the keyboard or something, and it's like just like an effect more of like I'm equally as talented on this instrument as my main instrument.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's wild. I think that's super cool. Another really like crazy show that I saw really recently was, I guess it wasn't that actually, but was Battles. Man, Battles is like freaking insane. I don't even know. They're so old. Man, I don't know. I had seen them, but like, I didn't really like, you know, see them in the flesh, and it
Yeah.
was just amazing to see like those dudes are like 50 years old and they're doing like some of the craziest stuff you've ever heard.
Oh, that's nuts.
Uh, and that's just like super exciting. And I'm like, such like a gear nerd, and they're just using like the crappiest crap, like not really, but it's just like, a MIDI controller, a guitar, like some like weird custom pedal button thing, and
Yeah.
then that's it. Like that was like the extent of the rig. Uh, I don't know, but they were just doing so much music for three people. I think that's definitely something that like is worth looking into.
Awesome. I'll have to give it a listen. My next question is, if you could compile a dream tour, who'd be on it?
I don't know, man. Oh my gosh. Um, It'd be super cool to tour with Hikes. I don't know if you
Okay.
know them. They're pretty rad. They're an awesome band. They're like my homies. They're like doing it, man. They're gonna explode. They already like recorded in Japan
Oh,
with
wow.
like Toe, and they're like going to Europe and
That's
all
crazy.
this stuff. And they've like already been to Europe and they went to Alaska, and I don't know, man. They're just going everywhere. They're super talented. I also just like in any way, shape, or form love to have like my homie Mills in whatever project he would be in, or if he wants to play with me, that would be preferred. But he's like the go-to homie that I call to play with. Like anytime, like I have a show, I want him to play in any of his bands. He's like the busiest dude ever. He's like a guy who is one of my really good friends I met at community college, and we're friends at university now. And dude, he plays like every day in some other project, so it's just like he's like the busiest dude alive. It's really awesome though. He's super talented.
Awesome. Awesome. And lastly, tell them about your band, Pine Martyn, where they can find your music at, and just anything else that's going on.
Word. Well, I'm really trying to record an album really as soon as possible.
Awesome.
Um, sometime this week, as soon as I finish studying for all these tests and write all my essays, I am doing like I guess a track. I already forgot the name of it. I feel bad, but it's for somebody in Europe, so that's like semi-important.
Awesome.
I'm doing that, and I'm sure I'll put that out. You can follow me like on Facebook and Instagram, just as Pine Martyn. Um, there is a Y and Martin instead of an I. That's pretty important as well. I have a Bandcamp that I am trying to be more proactive about using. As soon as I get this album out, I'm definitely like a lot of videos on YouTube. I try to record like all of my shows and put them on YouTube.
Awesome.
Just because I've been like in an apartment for so many years, it's hard to like really get the full band sound going. So I just kind of do like really small things or record the live shows. Also, if you want to add me on, Facebook, there's like the Facebook Live thing. I'm doing like
Yes.
live streams of all of my shows and whatever else I got going on. So that's a pretty good way to stay in touch.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'd like to thank Brandon from Pine Martyn for being on. I'll make sure to leave links in the description where you can find him at. If you want to add him, like you said, feel free to.
Just to,
But thank you for being on, man. I know it's kind of last minute pre today, but definitely go check out Pine Martyn stuff. Go check it out on Bandcamp. I think it's really interesting. I did see something that I wanted to ask you about. I saw you put Josh Martin from, I believe, Little Tybee, correct? Or
oh
that?
yeah, he's a homie.
Oh yeah. So I really love Little Tybee a lot. So I was definitely stoked when I saw his name on that thing. So, if he just
Yeah,
happens to watch this, Little
yeah.
Tybee,
We'll tag him in the video. He'll probably
awesome.
I used
Well,
to take lessons with him for a really long time, and every time he's been in town or we're anywhere close to each other, we always try to meet up and you know just hang.
that's
He's
awesome. Yeah, he's an extremely talented guitar player.
dude,
So,
straight up.
but
I've decided he's the Gandalf of guitar.
all right. Well, that being said, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe on here. Make sure to hit that like. Again, go follow Pine Martyn. And if you enjoy what we do a lot, we have a merch store. If you'd like to pick up a shirt and support, that'd be amazing. And we're almost at 300 likes. 300 subs. So if you'd like to hit the subscribe, that'd be amazing. And thank you, Pine Martyn, for being on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem. Talk to you later. Peace.
Peace, peace.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, of course. If you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.